Hello, very good evening. Welcome to tonight's news focus. And I want to say a big thank you for joining us from between now to 10 p.m. While we start rolling, we're unpacking. We want to look at all the happenings across the country, the latest stories that are making headlines. Remember, cocoa is one of the things we want to talk about today. The cocoa, is it really that the Ghanaian cocoa farmer is being subcharged, whatever way it is? We will look at it. We'll also be looking at other stories that has to do with the Ghana aspects of it. So we'll check on that as well. So there's so many other stories that we're going to chance on today. We'll bring the cocoa board debt, a government to restructure the 5.8 billion debt tightening oversight, according to Ato Forson. We'll also look at the 2025, started with 17.8 billion debt, according to the majority caucus revealed by Adongo. We'll go to Randy Abe, who to investigate financial impropriety, the cocoa sector debt, and then majority pushes back against his dismissal demand, and the president shut up Jinapo blasts minority over cocoa crisis. So this is some of the stories we'll be looking at between now to exactly 10 p.m. when we shake that hand of departure and say bye-bye to ourselves. So but for starters, let's go straight away to look at what is really making the headlines. Which of the headline? The question is, how can the same God reveal different outcomes in Christian Council question conflicting prophecies after the MPP primaries? High Court sentenced a footballer to life imprisonment over 2021 gruesome killing of Abyssinian teenagers. Emergency ward saved my life. It must work for every Ghanaian. Mahama Ayariga demands accountability over the hit and run case. Urban Barwin calls for emergency care law over no-bed syndromes. Debt. EPA says $35 million needed to fully restore the polluted Brain water. The hit and run parliament would take a drastic action if, remember we sat here and we spoke about this matter, but it has gone to the floor of Parliament. Parliament are not excited about this case that came up where no bed syndrome. The question is, the majority leader in Parliament, Mama Ayariga, has called for urgent accountability following the reports that a victim of a hit and run accident was allegedly turned away by 3 major hospitals due to unavailability of bed space. He was speaking on the floor of Parliament today, Tuesday, February 24. Mr. Ayariga said the incident, which has ignited public outrage over emergency response failure in the health care system, reflect the deep systemic problem that must not be ignored. The majority leader expressed this belief that an accident victim could reportedly be moved from hospital to hospital without receiving immediate emergency care. And that is a very sad one, describing the development as troubling. Mr. Ayariga said such cases speak to a broader national concern. And that is what I expressed my dissatisfaction with regards to this matter. Remember last week, but thank God the legislator have picked on and get to listen and also hear as we talk about this matter. You can also share your thoughts with us on 053-715-8638 is the number. 0537-158-638 is the numbers where you can also share your thoughts with us. Let's get to hear your voice with regards to this no bed syndrome. How do we tackle it as a nation? But this is not the first time we get into where we are. Another story that the Christian Council of Ghana has raised concerns over what it described as conflicting and troubling political prophecies that followed the recent New Patriotic Party flag bearer primaries. In a statement today, Tuesday, February 24th, the council called for a more sensitized and responsible religious environment in 2026 and beyond, following a wave of prophecies surrounding the outcome of the MPP's national primaries. The council stated that the conclusion of the polls on January 31st, 2026, and the former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was re-elected as the party's flag bearer, noting that while some prophets predicted the outcome accurately, others did not. A development they said raises serious theological and also ethical questions. The council described the development as troubling and poses what it termed as critical theological question. How can the same God reveal different outcomes of the same event to different prophets? It's a big question, isn't it? It's a big question. 053-715-8638 is the numbers you can also share your thoughts with us. Now, let me do some cocoa bidding for a while, where we're doing cocoa. Tonight, the attention is on cocoa. Tomorrow, probably, we may talk a bit on the cocoa as to whether the fair trade practices as Ghana's cocoa farmers getting a raw deal. There's a question I'm asking, are they getting a raw deal? The big one is solved that we need to find out. Meanwhile, government has plans to restructure the cocoa board with a $5.8 billion debt to the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance as part of efforts to stabilize the cocoa sector. The Finance Minister Kesselata Forson announced that the government will seek parliamentary approval for the debt restructuring aimed to restore cocoa board financial health and improve its balance sheet. The debt accumulated over the years has contributed to the cocoa board financial challenges, partly due to the quasi-physical activities like road construction. The government intends to refocus cocoa board on its core mandate of cocoa production, regulation, and also marketing. The key measures include transferring 4.35 billion Ghana cedis in cocoa road liability to the Ministry of Roads and Highways and the Ministry of Finance, conducting a forensic audit and criminal investigation into cocoa board activity over the past 8 years, implementing reforms to curb wasteful spending and improve financial discipline, introducing a new cocoa board bill to prohibit the quasi-physical activity. The goal for government is to revive the Ghana's cocoa industry, ensure fair prices for cocoa, and also promote long-term sustainability. Now, what specific reforms will be introduced to improve the cocoa financial management? Let's take a listen to the Finance Minister, Dr. Kesselata Forson.
An agreement has been reached on the immediate implementation of this policy. In order to address the indebtedness inherited by the current management of Ghana Cocoa Board, Cabinet has further directed that the Minister responsible for finance, myself, to urgently seek parliamentary approval for the following. 1, to convert the legacy debt of about 5.8 billion Ghana cedis owed to the Ministry of Finance and Bank of Ghana. Cocoa Board currently owes the Ministry of Finance 3.7 billion Ghana cedis, which arose from the conversion of non-marketable cocoa bills into a loan. Cabinet also noted that road construction accounts for a significant part of the financial difficulties that Cocoa Board is facing at the moment. Pursuant to the earlier announcement that I made in the course of last year, the new cocoa bill that is going to Parliament will now prohibit Cocoa Board from such quasi-fiscal expenditures and other non-core expenditures going forward, and it will come with punishment if they ever do so. Cabinet also directed the Attorney General to commission concurrent forensic audit and criminal investigation into the activities of Cocoa Board over the last 8 years. And I repeat, Cabinet also directed the Office of the Attorney General to commission concurrent forensic audit and criminal investigation into the activities of Cocoa Board over the last 8 years.
So he had a Sector Minister of Finance, Dr. Kesselata Forson, with issues that has to do with the Cocoa Board. Meanwhile, the Cocoa Board started in 2025 with a debt of approximately 17.8 billion Ghana cedis, according to Isaac Adongo, a chairman of the Parliament Finance Committee. And this debt, combined with other operational liabilities, bring Cocoa Board total exposure to around 60 billion Ghana cedis. The majority caucus attributed this financial distress to reckless borrowing and also mismanagement under the previous administration. The Cocoa Board CEO Randy Abe also highlighted issues with pricing, legacy debt, and unproductive production costs contributing to the crisis. Government has released 855 million Ghana cedis to offset outstanding payment to cocoa farmers and plans reforms to address the sector's financial challenges. Now let's take a listen and watch Isaac Adongo, the chairman of Parliament Finance Committee.
I just want to take you through a couple of the reckless financial exposures that these people left for us. They borrowed 1.8 billion from Africa Development Bank. This government, in 1 year, will have paid down 1.2 billion of that money. The interest that have accrued on those Africa Development Bank loans is about 209.5 million. We have paid 165 million of that money. They had a 10-year Bank of Ghana loan, the principal of which was 1.3 billion when they left. We have since paid that money by converting it into equity to recapitalize Cocoa Board so that Cocoa Board is financially strong and relieve them of the burden of servicing those debts. The interest payment on that is about 65.7 million. Again, we have relieved Cocoa Board of this obligation by using it to recapitalize Cocoa Board and give Cocoa Board a better financial standing.
And as a voice of the chairman of the Finance Committee in Parliament, Honorable Isaac Adongo. Meanwhile, Cocoa Board is also investigating financial improprieties aimed at the cocoa sector debt, according to the CEO Randy Abe. The institution is facing a significant financial crisis with a total debt of 32.9 billion and a negative equity position of 3.8 billion Ghana cedis as of 2024. The investigation aims to address alleged financial mismanagement, including procurement inefficiencies and exposure to cocoa road contract worth about 26 billion Ghana cedis. Abe has identified these issues as a major contributing factors to the cocoa financial distress. Government has pledged to support the Cocoa Board reforms and stabilize the cocoa sector. Some stakeholders are calling for the accountability and actions against those responsible of the financial mismanagement. My question is, what specific action will Cocoa Board take to address the financial impropriety allegation? But let's listen to the CEO of the Cocoa Board in the person of Dr. Randy Abe.
This is what we inherited. This is the effect or impact of that decision. The information is available. I'm saying that this thing is unprecedented. It's never happened. You spoke about the fact that Cocoa Board has a lot of expertise. Cocoa Board had done syndication for 32 years. So the expertise is there. Cocoa Board itself will be 80 years next year. The expertise is there. How do you have a forecast that goes off by over 40%? There must have been some serious or terrible thing happening. You must explain. Because for the 32 years that you ran the syndicated loan, you never had this situation. It never happened. So how come that it occurred in that particular year?
So he had the voice of the CEO of Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe, and also what he's got to say. Meanwhile, there's a lot of eyebrows that have been raised with the issue of getting him out of the place. Meanwhile, the majority in Parliament is pushing back against demands to dismiss the Cocoa Board CEO Randy Abe, describing the call as unjustified and prematured. The chairman of the Parliamentary Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Godfrey Seidu Jassor, believes the sector's challenges are long-standing and can be attributed solely to Dr. Abe's leadership. He argued that Abe is working to stabilize the sector and implement reforms aimed at the long-term sustainability. On the other hand, The minority in parliament, led by Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, demands Abbey's dismissal, citing poor leadership choices, incompetence, financial mismanagement, and arrogance at the cocoa board. They claim the recent reduction in cocoa producer price will severely impact over 1 million cocoa farmers. Now we go to the floor of parliament again. This time take a listen to Seydou Jasso.
It's not a plausible pathway, because if you look at what has happened, the reasons for where we are, I think Randy Abbey is rather doing a lot well and a lot better to keep the ship at sail. And so, please, let's not personalize it. There have been structural deficiencies. Randy has been able to hold on this far. He's been able to manage in a way that can guarantee us some sustainability going forward, some growth going forward. And I think that, if it's a function of management, I think we should allow the current management to implement this current reform. Let's observe. As Parliament, we'll continue to play our oversight role. We'll be monitoring every inch of this and see if there's a need for us to agree to what our opponents, our colleagues in the minority are saying. Fair. But today, I disagree completely with that.
Yeah, meanwhile, the cocoa issue is the cocoa CEO safe majority pushes against his dismissal demand. John Jinapor, a member of parliament, a member of the majority side in parliament, has also blasted the minority for criticizing government handling of the cocoa crisis, saying, "Commend Mahama or shut up." That was the word he used. Commend Mahama or shut up. The minority has demanded the dismissal of the cocoa board CEO Randy Abbey, citing mismanagement, financial distress, with the institution facing a debt of 32.9 billion Ghana cedis. The cocoa board has also introduced reforms to address crisis, including salary reduction, payment of 237 million Ghana cedis to farmers, suspension of a sitting allowance for board members. Government attributes the crisis to previous administration reckless borrowing and mismanagement. The IMF has advised Ghana to prioritize reforms at the cocoa board, tightening governance and control, improving transparency, and also strengthening procurement efficiency. We go back to the floor of parliament. This time around, we join the member of the Kosago, the man, John Jinapor.
Mr. Speaker, I've heard my colleagues say that government should go and borrow and pay the cocoa farmers. That is what they've been advocating for. Mr. Speaker, it is this same borrowing that our colleagues took and eventually landed Ghana in the state of bankruptcy. At least history will teach you that when you are a landlord, it's better to provide food every day than to provide jollof rice one day and starve your children for the rest of the days. Mr. Speaker, what we are doing is simply attempting to balance the equation and give the farmers what is due them. I heard a ranking member say that you should forward sale. Forward sale is an element of hedging. But as you are forward selling, whoever is buying it is also forward buying. And he says that, look, we knew that the price will go low. So because the price will go low, sell the price or sell the produce today. If you are a buyer and you know that the price will go low tomorrow, will you buy it today? No. This is common tribe knowledge. This is common tribe knowledge. So this attempt at forward sale, it doesn't work. Mr. Speaker, when we left office, we had a complaint from the then administration that the debt was 19 billion. You told us that it was not sustainable. Did you not say that? Today you've taken the debt to 36 billion and you think that that is sustainable? If 19 billion was not sustainable, how do you think that 36 billion is sustainable? You had 8 years to deal with the situation. One, you reduce the tonnage because your revenue is a function of price and quantity. Even when the price comes down on your revenue and your quantity shoots up, you will get that revenue. And so if you reduce the quantity from almost 1 million to about 500,000, and you couldn't even syndicate the loan, and you leave such a burden to the NDC administration, and we are taking pragmatic steps to solve the problem, the least you can do is to commend the Mahama administration. If you can't do that, excuse me, Mr. Speaker, you shut up. This attempt to politicize this cocoa issue will not wash today, will not wash tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, the farmers know better. We are not shortchanging the cocoa farmer, and that is a fact. We are not shortchanging the cocoa farmer. All you are asking us to do is to go and borrow money and come and top up to the 80% to 90% the cocoa farmer is getting. Today, when you go to the international market and you sell the cocoa, we are giving the farmers what is due. The only problem is that the prices has come down. And because the prices has come down, when you give them 80% of the price, it will seem as if it is small. But there is something known as real purchasing power in economics. Mr. Speaker, if I receive 100,000 and the price of cement is 100,000, it means I can buy only one bag. But if I receive 80,000, that is a reduction. But if the price of cement is 70,000, I'll buy one bag and still have 10,000 left. This is simple economics. Class 1 economics, Form 1 economics, in the University Economics 101. So yes, it's true. The amount of money the cocoa farmer from the face value might look small, but I prefer a gallon of fuel selling today, yes, Mr. Speaker, at 9 cedi than when it was selling at 23 cedi under Baumia. I prefer a bag of cement selling at 82 cedi than when it was 104 cedi under Baumia. Mr. Speaker, when you fry it, when you bake it, when you roast it, when you toast it, this administration has done far better than the MPP administration, and you have no cause to complain. On that note, Mr. Speaker, on this auspicious note, and let me commend the finance minister for being pragmatic and for being real. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm grateful.
So you have the voice of the energy minister and the Green. Say John Jinapor, he also doubles as the MP. But the point is that the state against the farmer. That's my stake for tonight. And I want you to get to listen to it well. How government control of Ghana's cocoa sector keeps 800,000 farming families in poverty. And I want to speak to Peter Bismarck. I tried to get Peter to from Institute for Liberty and also Policy Innovation. Daily farmer earning is between $0.4 to $0.45. Cocoa staff, 10,000 plus. That is about $12 million per month payroll. 2 billion plus cocoa debt, bankruptcy in all but name. Now, Ghana is the world's second largest cocoa producer, supplying approximately 20% of the world's cocoa. The global chocolate industry generates over $118 billion in annual revenue. Yet 800,000 smallholder farming families who produce Ghana's cocoa, the foundational labor behind this immense wealth, earn an average between $0.4 or $0.545. That is $0.45 per day. That is not a market failure. It is a policy failure of the highest order engineered by the state. Now, since 1947, Ghana's government has maintained an iron grip over the cocoa sector through the Ghana Cocoa Board, a state monopoly that fixes prices, that controls exports, monopolizes the purchasing, and employs over 10,000 bureaucrats at a payroll cost of approximately $12 million every month. farmers must sell to the state and they cannot negotiate. They cannot seek better buyers. They cannot benefit when the global prices surge. And when government mismanages the system, as it is catastrophically has done in 2024-2025 season, the farmers pay the price through mid-season cuts, frozen value chain, unpaid arrears. Now, Ilampi argues that the Cocoa Board is not the protector of Ghana's cocoa farmers. It is a state instrument for extracting value from the countryside to fund a bloated bureaucracy, service political ambitions, and manage foreign exchange for the benefit of the urban elite. The evidence presented in the brief is comprehensive, current, and demanding. Now, a colonial architecture presented by the post-colonial elites, Cocoa Board was established in 1947 by the British colonial authorities seeking to control the price, the extraction of cocoa from Ghanaian farmers. The colonial cartel was designed to swindle farmers by creating the illusion of alignment whilst coercing them into selling at exploitative prices in the name of foreign exchange. The post-colonial government did not dismantle this architecture. It inherited it, refined it, expanded it, and replaced the British extraction mechanism with a Ghanaian one. Today, Cocoa Board operates as a government-controlled monopoly, or the sole buyer, the sole exporter, and the sole price setter in Ghana's cocoa market. Farmers have no choice of buyer. Licensed buying companies, LBCs, purchases on the Cocoa Board's behalf. But the price is set centrally. No farmer can sell to a private exporter, negotiate a premium, or access international market directly. The state has given itself an exclusive right to stand between the farmer and the world economy. And it charges an enormous toll for doing so. When government mismanage the system, as it is since 2024-25 season, the farmers pay the price through mid-season cut, frozen value chain, and unpaid arrears. Now, government claims to target providing farmers with 70% of the coke of the free on board, that the FOB export price. In practice, the farmers routinely receive far less. Analysis cited in the Business and Financial Times found that Ghanaian farmers receive as little as 55% of the export price, compared to 70 to 75% that farmers in more liberated market receive. The gap, the 15-20% points consumed by Cocoa Board's bureaucracy, debt service, political overhead, represent the direct cost of state control, transfers from the pockets of rural farming families into the hands of Accra administrative apparatus. For the 2023-2024 season, the farm gate price was set at 1,308 Ghana cedis per 64 kg per bag, translating to approximately $1,820 per metric ton at a time when the global cocoa price fluctuated between $2,000 and $3,500 per metric ton. The gap between what the market would pay and what government allowed farmers to receive was enormous. The average annual income of a Ghanaian cocoa farmer is estimated to be between $1,000 and $1,500 per year, well below the international living wage standard and scandalous below the living wage benchmark for Ghana at 13 Ghana cedis 50 pesos a day. And that is price gap, 55%. Now, the most devastating comparison in the entire cocoa policy debate is this. Cocoa Board employs over 10,000 people and incurs a payroll cost of approximately $12 million every month. Its counterparts in Cote d'Ivoire, the Console du Café Caution CCC, which manages the world's largest cocoa sector, employs approximately 550 people. Ghana, we employ 10,000 people. The world's largest cocoa sector, Cote d'Ivoire, employ approximately 550 people. The fundamental question that every Ghanaian should ask government is, what do the 9,450 extra employees do? And who is paying for them? The answer is clear, and is that Ghanaian cocoa farmers are paying for them through systemic suppression of the prices they receive for their beans. This is not efficiency. This is rent-seeking at the industrial scale. The state has created an institution that employs thousands of politically connected civil servants, funds infrastructure projects of questionable utility. Cocoa roads are notorious examples. Services billions of dollars in syndicated debt, all financed by the invincible tax on every bag of cocoa that a farmer harvests, dries and sells at prices government dictates. 10,000 versus 550. Not even 600. 10,000 versus 550. Cocoa Board employs over 10,000 staff at a cost of $12 million every month in payroll. La Cote d'Ivoire's equivalent cocoa regulator manages the world's largest cocoa sector with just 550 employees. Ghanaian farmers are paying the difference. You can go check the Business and Financial Times 2026 report. It's in there. The story is in there. Go fetch it out yourself. Now, $2 billion debts in debt, farmers pay the price of mismanagement. Cocoa Board carries an outstanding debt of approximately $32 million, accumulated from years of subsidized farm gate prices, operational financing, syndicated trade finance facility for over 32 consecutive years before 2024-2025 season. Cocoa Board relies on a syndicated foreign loan simply to purchase cocoa beans from its own farmers. Extraordinary admission that the institution cannot fund its most basic operational function from its own revenue. As cocoa marketing expert Shaibu Abubakar noted, I am baffled that after years of operation, Cocoa Board still needs to take out loans to buy beans from farmers. Loans comes with conditions and interest, which eats into their profits. In the 2024-2025 season, international financial institutions lost confidence in Cocoa Board's management and refused to provide a syndicated loan entirely. The first time in 32 years. The consequences was immediate and brutal for farmers. The value chain frozen. LBCs could not pay for the 10 million Ghana cedis worth of cocoa beans, and they had already purchased from farmers. Harvested, dried cocoa sat in the warehouses with no buyers, no payment, no movement. As MP Kojo Nkrumah stated on the television in February 2026, the value chain is frozen and poverty is setting in. Farmers are constantly paying the price of mismanagement by government. The producers of cocoa and the mass suffer for government monopoly. In February 2026, government announced that the Producer Price Review Committee has slashed the producer price from 3,625 per bag to 2,587 cedis per bag, a 28.6% reduction mid-season without warning. The Finance Minister, Dr. Kessler Forson, you heard him, cited the collapse of global cocoa prices from approximately $7,200 per ton in August 2025 to $4,100 per ton in February 2026. For farming household, the arithmetic was immediate and brutal. A farmer earning $3,625 per bag was now losing roughly $1,000 on the same bag, directly erasing school fees, fertilizer costs, household food, and basic survival for the smallholder farmers. The root cause was strategic mismanagement by Cocoa Board leadership. The previous administration has consistently sold forward contracts to lock in prices and hedge against volatility. The current management installed in January 2025 abandoned the practice and chose to sell on the spot market. And that threatened the price would raise further. When global prices collapsed, Cocoa Board was fully exposed. Rather than absorbing the consequences of this institution's gamble, government transferred the loss directly onto the farmers who had borrowed money, purchased inputs, hired labor based on the prices cocoa has fixed in the start of the season. 28.6%. 0537185 is the numbers. You can call us. We're talking cocoa tonight. Got a few minutes. Now it's time for you. I just want to pause here. If you're interested in this episode, tomorrow in the morning, we'll do a lot of conversation around it. The structure trapped. Farmers cannot benefit when prices are high. Cocoa Board price setting mechanism is structured to insulate the state from market risk at the direct expense of farmers. During the period of rising global prices, cocoa pre-sales forward contract, it lowered agreed rates and locks in its margins. Farmers, however, receive the fixed domestic price, not the rising market price. When global prices surged forward to $12,000 per ton in 2024, Ghanaian farmers received none of the windfall. The state captured the premium. When prices subsequently fell back to $4,100 per ton, the state passes the loss directly to the farmers through a mid-season cut price. This is not price stabilization. It is a one-way wrench that socializes upside gains into Cocoa Board's coffers and privatized downside losses onto farming household. The High Street Journal analysis was precise. An efficiently managed Cocoa Board could have built stabilization reserves during the $12,000 per ton boom to protect farmers during the downturn. It did not. Farmers are paying for inefficiencies of the market regulator. Farmers currently wish they could sell their produce to whoever I want. The control pricing doesn't help them. You know, I chanced upon something Elapi did in 2019 on sensitizing farmers for cooperatives to sell their produce for the more than less from government. And this is authentic voice of economic freedom denied by government. Farmers know what they need. The state refuses to let farmers have it. 053-715-8638 is the numbers. 0537-158638 is the numbers. We're talking cocoa. And for those of you who have not been able to spend time, go into the journals and you will fish out what I'm putting in place today. And it's surprising to see when those windfall, $12,000 per ton, Cocoa Board couldn't say. How do you employ over 10,000 people? Producing 20% of the world's cocoa, spending $12 million per month to pay 10,000 people. The world's largest producer, La Côte d'Ivoire. 550.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Your name, where Richard is live from?
But
you're from the name.
But you're from Nanodue.
Nanodue, Alientio.
Patrol. Cocoa board for where you see a papa. So we see and there. One cocoa critical. Cocoa critical, you know, if you're cocoa and cocoa. No, what are politics now? Where you basa? No, water. I don't want one cocoa board. You watch on Kana, a puffo, your bread. When you be a woman, what to a cocoa critical. It is a see, but papa, what is he saying? Patrol, Madame.
Yes, yeah, that's 0537158638 is the numbers. You can join us. We got a few more minutes. I got just under 10 minutes to leave the saddle. So I'm pausing here. Tomorrow, join me in the morning on the National Policy Focus. We dive into details of this story. 0537158638 is the numbers. The living income differential, the lead of $400 per metric ton, introduced by the Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. Can you turn the volume of your TV set down so we have conversation on your phone? If you can do that, you can go ahead with your submission. Hello. Well, if you call in, please do us the honors by reducing your TV set or walk away from where the TV set is so we can have the conversation on your phone, not via the TV, please. On your phone, not via the TV. 0537158638 is the numbers. Just go a little under 6 minutes to start wrap it up. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Your name and where Richard is live from? Can you please speak up a bit? I can hardly hear you. Can you please speak up a bit? I can hardly hear you. 0537158638 is the numbers. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you please turn the volume of your TV set down? Good evening. Can you turn the volume of your TV set down, please? Obetunyama o TV no volume na conform say. Oh. Ya kan sem ya kan o kan twe wo free wo TV no ho. Ni enkasa wo phone no so. Wo be frɛ na mo kasa wo phone so na TV no so my feedback. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Me pacho we din be of free. Okay, yenti o menua.
Me pacho na me say Mr. Jinapo. Some kind no. I didn't say before we policy from the classes keep last now. Because for them side there's some better promise. What promise you? I said I want my cancel the brain say. So wouldn't say be conform to be possible. So by who cancel about the classes keep last. But if you want to be chat, who cancel the brain? What I say? Yeah. We don't know cause. Who promise be I saw to me from more. When you said drop it, I know you promise no. Because what position? When you say person we need power, back and the other cabia we need power. So from more. Now you don't say yeah, they can why. Don't me from more, they are what on throw. Okay, move on to that.
Miss Medasi from Accra, Utah. Good evening out there. Hello, 0537158638. Me pacho ofra no ama of TV no volume na akofom. Ni din komo e wo phone so. Me sewa awrasiemu. Pacho. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Miriam Pacho. We didn't maybe offer a fee.
I'm Kofi. I'm sorry.
Okay, Pacho into you.
You bring a show. Hi.
Mate.
Papa, now all you know, I'm in there. I am my role in there. He can put Musuda be a gun. Musuda be a gun. She said, you walk to Kodaba. No one to Kokomo. About them was ne enka kena wanka pede to limpo enka yon mu fide aba 1,000 plus it is to do infi ekwa want so wensawa the pede be said sisiano ona what to kokoro mpemfo no what only pay what so that am what na waji na ya wawa omana yetu mpemfo mo si hospital no we are hospital no so era what hospital na what amana ni kwani chomo musuda me yakani me best way e kwa fu miska no what for na de won pa mo na why fi what na so what for one miska won pa mo 1,000 no what pa mo na won na what to do so we for next people on do no what we are no me fido me I want to me da fi kunjo
Man so me da sin ya men kan so ho 0537158638. I can do one more call, then we can go. Maybe I can share 3 minutes. Hello, good evening, my brother. Your name, where you reaching us live from?
Then. Oh, yo, now I what today? The end is happening. The next not the children, and all the way. When you know, Opa, and another listener, Opa, and yet I'm not working. Everyone can tell me to what American. What's in the map? Because I'm paying you or you are man. Like, yeah, so Mamma, you have to crop 1,003,100. But I'm 1,500 Abaco and other who. No, what's it? That's to do that. I open another listener. I want someone for now. Someone, you see a man. No, I'm also the most young. I want to another veteran. One taking me to I. There's one beyond the one I need. I am, but I. Bye
bye. Interesting evening, right? Today, the sector was to check on bringing you some revelations of things that needs to be done, things that is ongoing since 1947. We've expanded it. We blame our own people monopolizing at the expense of the Ghanaian farmer. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening, my brother. Your name, where reaching us live from?
Pacho, good evening.
Good evening, Miriam. Pacho, we didn't have a free fee.
Pacho, me free over region.
Okay.
Pacho, Kupana market, no, me Hami, Nanso, Jayato, Ama, Kaban, Bear, Usumi, Yumi, Scaling by Nanso Kuno, very many young Kaka. Kalia Kanumba. Na yesu ye de amafo ka bebre musu omutaki kita be na kanbeba na omudi amai nga ni su be dia tua amafo ka. Bye bye.
Yo, bye bye, Minia. I think this is where time will permit me today. Yeah. This is where time will permit me today to come your way with today's edition of the News Focus Tonight. Live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, Nwa Adono. For more, join me tomorrow in the morning on the Morning Focus. Tomorrow I'm going to do more of this cocoa stuff. More have in-depth analyze it throughout this week. Bring the resources. Remember, this resource materials from different outputs were gotten for you, just for you, to understand the dynamics of what government is doing to our people. My name is El Samuels. To God be the glory. Till we meet again same time tomorrow at 9 p.m. When you stop to say a prayer, say one for me. But don't forget that life is a gift. So say a prayer with every heartbeat. Do have a good night. Let's meet tomorrow in the morning. Bye-bye.